Hey guys, so I know it's been a hot minute, but I've been noticing recently that I've been gaining quite a few subscribers. So if you're new here, welcome. I don't post that often, so that's just something that I'm trying to fix, but I don't know if I'll be able to because today we're going to talk about where I've been and also my 2018 goals. So I really haven't been posting a lot for a few different reasons. I got really busy, but I also stopped uploading during the summer, which I had a job, but it wasn't like a time-consuming job. I totally could have filmed if I needed to or wanted to, but I just really didn't want to for some reason. I didn't lose my love for YouTube at all, or BookTube. I still really love BookTube. I still watch BookTube on the regular, but I just kind of felt like I didn't need to post anything because I felt like that I wasn't putting anything out there that was different or cool or anything like that. But since I've gained probably 50 subscribers since I uploaded last, I just decided that I would probably give it a go again. I mean, I am in school full-time right now, and I do have a little bit of time on Fridays and the weekends to film, so I think we can make it work. But if it does get too much, I'm not gonna stress myself out about uploading and all that type of stuff. So yeah, that's kind of where I've been. So let's just jump into the 2018 goals. So if I'm looking down, it's because I have a notebook. My first goal, or my big goal for the year, is I really want to focus on writing this year. I'm primarily a poetry writing. This year I really want to take the first steps into looking into and actually making progress towards publishing and getting published. I don't have an agent or an editor or anything like that. I go to school, I go to my community college for creative writing with a focus in poetry writing. So last semester I took a creative writing class, this semester I'm taking a poetry writing class. I'm really excited. So this year I want to write 52 poems, which should be quite easy. It's just one poem a week. I tend to write more than that, and if I am writing, I usually write about 10 poems, but I want to write 52 really good poems, because I have written probably around 50 poems so far this year, but I didn't like them, and they were just kind of redundant. I had already written that poem with the same type of thing, and usually my poems come straight from my feelings. So I recently went through a breakup, so a lot of my poems are about our relationship and what was wrong with it and heartbreak and all that kind of stuff. And so I've written a lot of poems about that, but they're all kind of redundant, and there's only about 4 or 5 of them that I actually like. So I really want to make sure I'm writing the best that I can, and I think my poetry writing class this semester will really help with that. So I'm gonna start doing that. I'm gonna start writing. I'm gonna start sending my poems to people to beta read and edit, and hopefully by the end of the year I have something to send out to a publisher. So that's my writing goal. And then I also want to, if I have time, if I don't, it's not that big of a deal, but I do have a novel idea, which I'm not going to really talk about, but it's an idea, and I kind of discovered it in my creative writing class last semester, and I just want to expand on it more. I just want to plan it out a little bit. I haven't really started writing it. I mean, I have a few scenes because of my creative writing class, but I don't have anything that great. So I really want to flesh out the characters and the plot and everything before I even write anymore. So I really want to focus on that this year. Ariel Bissett made a video during NaNoWriMo where she talked about how she was gonna plan out her novel, and she had all these questions for herself, and there was one thing for each day. And I think I might do that this year for NaNoWriMo, because I saved her list and I really want to focus on that if I get the poetry thing done. So yeah, those are my 2 writing goals. Those are my big goals I really want to make this year about writing. But to be a writer, you also have to read. And I'm sorry if the lighting's kind of weird. I'm using natural light and my window's really far away, and the camera's kind of close because I got a new bed, so if the video looks kind of bad, I'm sorry. But I'm working on it. So to be a writer, you have to read. That's like one of the most important things to like know what kind of writer you want to be. So this year I want to read 100 books. That's my GoodReads challenge. It's been my GoodReads challenge for the past 2 years, and I've achieved it both years. In 2015 I read 100 and maybe it was 2016. Yeah, in 2016 I read 102 or 3 books, and then last year in 2017 I read about 120. This year, I want to exceed 100 books. I don't really care how much I exceed it. The main reason that I exceeded it last year was because I was counting a lot of the books I was reading for school, so that helped. And I was in a short story class, and I literally counted pretty much every short story, which was like 20 short stories. So that's really why I hit the 120. But I did also read like 100 books of my choosing. So that's my Goodreads goal. And then to go into like specific reading goals, I want to read more nonfiction. You probably can't see, but right here to my right, your left, I have this whole shelf is nonfiction, and I really want to read a few books on there. I am really into nonfiction right now. I've already read a few books, and I'm starting another book that's nonfiction. It's something I've always been interested in, and last year, let me get it. Last year I read this book, Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and Other Lessons from the Crematory by Caitlin Doughty. And this is about a woman who worked in a crematorium? Is that what it's called? I don't even know. Yeah, a crematory. And it's kind of like about her relationship with death, and it was really, really interesting, and I absolutely loved this book. I do want to reread it, but it's her memoir, and I want to read more books like this. There is one coming out, when's it coming out? In April. It's called The Trauma Cleaner by Sarah Cranostine. I think that's nonfiction. That's one of my most anticipated reads for this year because it does kind of remind me of the themes of this one, so I think it'll be cool. But yeah, I do really want to read more nonfiction this year, and I do have quite a lot of nonfiction on my shelf. Okay. The next challenge I want to do is I want to finish the books that I've already started. My Goodreads shelf, where I have like a put down for now shelf, there are about 50 books on that shelf. And it's not that I didn't like those books. It's either that I had borrowed them from the library and I hadn't finished them before they were due back, and like I couldn't renew them anymore, or I just wasn't in the mood for them at the time and then I just never picked them up. There are so many books that I know I'm gonna love on that list, and I really want to get to at least half of them this year. And then my other goal, which is kind of piggybacking off of that, is I want to stop doing that. I want to stop putting down books and not finishing them, and like, or at least just not even put them on my Goodreads until I'm like a good amount through and like know I'm gonna finish it, because I don't know why it like really stresses me out when I have a lot of books that I'm in the middle of. Like, I'm fine with reading 2 or 3 books at a time, but if I have books that are unfinished, like, it really bothers me. Like last year, or I still have 2 books from last year that I haven't finished, which is What Happened by Hillary Rodham Clinton, which is her account on what happened during the presidential election. I was reading it, I was loving it, but I just put it down, and I don't know why. And then the other book that I'm in the middle of is The Wind-Up Bird Chronicle by Haruki Murakami, that's a really dense book, and I was kind of feeling overwhelmed with it, so I just put it down. I am planning on picking it back up, but it got to a point where we were introduced to like a whole new storyline and new characters, and I didn't really know what was happening, so I just put it down and I was like, I'm not dealing with this right now. So I am planning on picking both of those back up at some point, but I want to stop doing that this year, so yeah. And then the next challenge or goal, resolution, whatever you want to call it, that I have is I want to catch up on like really popular series. So just to name a few, I want to finish A Series of Unfortunate Events. That's one of my favorite series from my childhood, but I only ever read to like book 6, and I think that's where I'm at now, so I want to finish reading that. I have the whole thing. It's up there. You can't really see it. I want to read 6 of Crows. I literally have not read it at all, and I know I'm going to love it, but I've just been putting it off. I want to Victoria Schwab is my favorite author, in case you don't know, and I haven't read A Conjuring a Light or Our Dark Duet yet, so I do want to reread both of those series to get to that one. Not that I forget what happened, but like just so I can have an excuse to reread her books because I love her. So yeah, those are the series that I want to catch up on because I feel kind of silly for not reading them. My next one is to reread some of my old favorites. This is always one of my goals, and I usually reread like 1 or 2 books, but I really want to focus this year on rereading. I think, yeah, I did reread 2 of the books that I wanted to. So some of the books that I want to reread this year were Down Among the Sticks and Bones and Every Heart a Doorway, which I already reread to read Beneath the Sugar Sky. I want to reread A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Wings and Ruin. I'm currently listening to the audiobook of Akamath and loving it. Obviously, this is like my 4th time rereading it. I want to reread Vicious, Dark Shade of Magic, Gathering of Shadows, Our Dark Duet. And then the last thing that I want to reread is the To All the Boys I Loved Before trilogy, because I read that for the first time last year and I absolutely loved it. So during the summer, I just want to binge the whole thing because it just makes me feel really great. So yeah, and then the last challenge that I have is I want to read the rest of Haruki Murakami's books. And I don't know if I'll get to all of them this year because there are quite a few. And not even just his books, like also his short story collections. And I think he might even have some nonfiction out. But the ones that I have left are the rest of the Wind Up Bird Chronicle, Kafka on the Shore, 1Q84, Hardboiled Wonderland and the End of the World, After Dark, Sputnik's Sweetheart, A Wild Sheep Chase, South of the Border, West of the Sun, Dance Dance Dance, After the Quake, Hear the Wind Sing, Wind Pinball, you know what it is, Blind Willow, Sleeping Woman, The Elephant Vanishes, Men Without Women, and Absolutely On Music. So those are all the ones I have left to read. That's quite a lot. That's 15 books. So like, I think if I really push myself, I could definitely do it. But I know with Murakami, like I need to just like read a few of his books and then just like take a really long break from them. So yeah, those are my 2018 reading resolutions, whatever you want to call this. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. I'm so happy that so many of you have found my channel and are here to talk. If you like are interested in any of these and want me to like make a whole video about them, I totally will. I am going to be pre-filming a little bit today, so you will be seeing a little bit more of me in your subscription feed for the next few days. But yeah, give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. Leave me a comment down below and tell me some of your resolutions this year. I'd love to know them. Or like even tell me some of your anticipated reads for this year, because that would be really cool. Because I have a really short list. Because I don't know. But I always do that. I make a list and then like I always find way more books than that I put on my list. So yeah, thanks so much for watching and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!